Don't talk to me about marriage, exams, kids, tests, evaluations, or whatever else. Today is Brawl Talk, so talk to me about Brawl Talk because on top of that, there's a lot to see in this Brawl Talk. Of course, we have two new brawlers with Sirius, who is the 100th brawler, Nagia, Finks' employee, Tibby Fizz, a new trophy system, Leskin, Sands of Time, Dragon Effect. We even have new game modes and much more. In short, this is the most packed Brawl Talk we've ever seen. Of course, make yourself comfortable. It's going to take a little while because it went by really fast and there's a lot to explain. I realize you may not understand everything, so I invite you to return tomorrow for more details. We only have the Brawl Talk today, so that's all we see. No further explanations. Be sure to subscribe, like, and comment. As always, use the code PERIADO. It really helps a lot. Anyway, let's get started without further delay. I know you've been waiting for this. The first thing we're going to look at is this new brawler, Sirius. And I'm not going to lie to you, we're going to skip over all the stuff like that quickly. To get straight to the point, Sirius is the 100th brawler. He's not just ultra legendary, which we were right about, but more importantly, he'll have a unique style because he can control shadows. I'm going to explain everything to you, but before that, we've got a bit of gold here, and this is interesting. First, they tell us that Sirius is the very first villain of Star Park, but also that Sirius's past is just as mysterious as his powers. He supposedly created Star Park's first attraction, but it was forgotten when Brawl Stars became more popular than his Theater of Shadows. Unfortunately, we don't have many clues about the trio. It looks like it's the Theater of Shadows, so that's his trio. He doesn't join anyone. Of course, this still needs to be confirmed. Once again, if he comes back to Brawl Stars, it's to get revenge. I think we're going to have a season full of gold. Now let's move on to the gameplay. It's already pretty complicated. We can see that he has 7,400 health. That's not a huge amount. It's about average. For his attack, he has 2 attacks. It's very simple. It's similar to playing as Larry and Lori with a comparable aiming style. You have one attack you can launch and another that stays low to the ground, but both attacks eventually converge unless blocked by a wall. In the meantime, both go to the same spot and deal 1,200 each. So as you can see, if both hit, that's 2,400. That's still pretty good damage. At the same time, you can kind of see how it works mechanically, and especially there's something pretty strange. You can actually see it. There's a kind of little billiard ball next to it with numbers on it. It goes 1, 2, and it can go up to 3, those famous billiard balls. They can summon shadows, and it's not just any shadow, it's shadows of brawlers, of existing brawlers. As you can see, when we use the ultimate, it creates a kind of zone, and that's where it will summon them. Exactly those brawlers, for example, if you hit Gale 3 times like here, you'll get 3 shadows of Gale, but if you hit other brawlers like Mortis or Frank, well, it will create shadows of Frank and Mortis, but keep in mind, it's a maximum of 3 shadows. In this example, we could see Willow and Angelo. It all depends on how many brawlers you've hit, and of course, which brawlers you've hit. You can summon up to 3 or fewer, but you must charge them by hitting. Interestingly, you can guide these shadows. Be careful and let's understand this. In this way, you can put a kind of little arrow, I imagine. You tap the screen where you want to use the ultimate, and you'll be able to target an enemy in real time. It's not something that's fully automatic. Also, you can also guide them wherever you want. What's interesting is that these shadows, in addition to being able to guide them, have the same characteristics as the real burners. Now, be careful. It's not exactly the same amount of hit points, but for example, Frank will always have more hit points than Leon. I'm talking about the shadow, and these shadows will be able to attack, but also to follow Sirius. Here's an interesting sentence from Drew. Is this the start of Brawltalk? What does real-time strategy mean in real-time strategy? I'll quickly explain because it's really interesting. Real-time strategy means real-time strategy. To put it simply, it's strategy in real time. You'll be able to guide things simultaneously, including those shadows, which is entirely new. I can't explain further since it depends on which shadows you control. We also have his Hypercharge. We can summon shadows that are more powerful. Here we can see 3 Franks with 11,900 hit points. There you go. It's extremely overpowered. We'll see how we can defend against this kind of thing because it looks extremely strong. I've never seen anything like this in my life, but well, that's his Hypercharge, so we understand that it's a bit stronger. In any case, we'll have more information later. For now, I've described pretty much everything about Sirius, something quite interesting before he becomes a brawler. We can see this screen here, and it looks like we can unlock Sirius for free, but I'm not sure. We don't have any information yet, but judging by this screen, it simply says win with each brawler to unlock Sirius, and so we have wins and 99 brawlers. We have Arcade, Ali Ambra, and a bar showing our location. If we get 99 brawlers, we unlock Sirius. It appears free to unlock, but it's a bit complicated. I'll share more info later. It seems like an event, which is cool. If we don't have to pay for him, that's great, especially since he's ultra legendary. We also have a second brawler, let's go straight to it, whose name is Nagia. Nagia is part of Finks' trio, that's for sure, and we don't really know if she's a friend of Finks or more of a rival. However, we do know that she'll be a mythic brawler who deals raw damage, and she uses snakes as her basic attack. Nagia is recruited by Finks to make the Pyramid Quest puzzles more complicated, but her kindness actually led her to free the victims of Finks' time distortions. In short, she has a good heart. We can see that she has 6,800 hit points, but her attack is pretty strange. We can see only one bar, it's a bit like BEA. It's the same system. It recharges slowly, you can't attack anytime, and ammo doesn't stack. 6,800 hit points is low, but she has an interesting mechanic. It's a mix of Korvac and Willow, but more guided. Think Meeple and you'll see what I mean. She has an attack that deals 1,440 damage, and the poison also does damage. After that, it deals just over 300, then gradually decreases. Basically, it means that Nagia's attack will go off and explode, no matter the direction or where the brawler is, so it's kind of guided, and on top of that, it releases poison. In short, it's extremely annoying. And another way to deal damage is when the jar doesn't explode, but not on the brawler. In that case, it'll do much less damage, it'll only deal 800 damage. You can see it on Edgar, but this way you'll hit multiple brawlers. If it explodes, the snake targets the first brawler, hits, and poisons them. There's also a small eye visible. It looks like it's like Ali, that as soon as there's a brawler with low hit points, it's going to increase its damage and boost the characteristics of the jar, like its speed, for example. Again, these are just assumptions since we don't have anything clear, but in any case, it really seems like it. Quelque chose d'extrêmement cheaté nous dit que son venin est cumulable, ça veut dire que tu fais plusieurs... On the same brawler, it's not going to reapply venom and deal the same damage again, no. That means if you had 300 base venom damage, you'll be able to hit them again with venom and so deal 600 more venom damage. That's extremely strong. It's not like some brawlers where the venom is capped. As for gadgets and star power, we'll see later, because in this sequence, we see that Nagia transforms into a jar and doesn't take any damage. It looks like it's some kind of decoy, a bit like Charlie with her cocoon, but we'll see about that later. We didn't get any explanation. However, at the same time, we see that she's using her ultimate, and her super is called Poison Noodles. She releases venomous snakes, each with 3,600 health, making them easy to defend against. They will follow the brawlers, and as soon as they reach the brawler, there will be a burst of poison, like a small area, and it will poison the brawler. The damage is 600, which isn't much, but it adds up over time. We don't know its duration, which is key to judging its strength. Either way, this brawler is really annoying. We can also see its event, so you'll need 14 boxes to unlock it, just like the mythic brawlers. That's something we're familiar with. And it will be on March 20th in a special accent, so it's obviously the Brawler for April, while Sirius, on the other hand, will be available at the end of February in a special accent and in March normally. Now, we've seen all the Brawlers. We're going to move on to the buffs, which is pretty interesting. Since there are 6 new buffs, there will be 3 buffs for the Retropolis trio and 3 buffs for the Shaban trio. That means the Jungle trio from the Brawltalk. They went extremely fast to get through quickly. We'll try to spend a bit more time just to understand. If you're tired of the buffs, etc., if you don't necessarily want to understand and want to see the other updates, I invite you to skip ahead in the video. But be careful, it's still interesting because some gadgets change completely. For example, you know, the famous Korvac shield, it doesn't exist anymore. Now, you need to hit a burner, then activate your gadget to get a shield. The shield comes from the burner's remaining poison, but after this, the burner isn't poisoned anymore. The poison turns into a shield with the buffies, the burner remains poisoned, and you also get the shield along with the slow gadget. Korvac is now a single shot. It's a bit like Colt with his 2 bullets, you know, except here Korvac has only 1 bullet, and that's not all. This bullet can bounce. It's interesting, as you can see in this clip, it hits 2 brawlers who are still pretty far apart in terms of star powers. Here, there's no rework. This star power with Buffy will just deal more damage. Very simple. About Rapash, the other star power only extends the poison duration. With Hypercharge, his attack becomes piercing and returns during Hypercharge, that's all, along with the buffies. If you use this gadget with Billy, it will charge his yellow bar faster, and it will heal when hitting a target, so here you absolutely have to hit someone to be able to heal yourself. Before, it healed automatically, and this gadget was different. You had to hit with the bubble to slow down. Now it explodes and becomes a chewing gum ball that stays on the ground. The longer it stays on the ground, the stronger the slow effect, so arriving late means you'll be slowed even more. You aren't affected by it. The star power run, Billy Run, also deals more damage, as shown. Without star power, it dealt 2,000, fully charged with star power, it does 3,000 charge your bar to move faster and increase damage. The other star power is that as soon as you hit with your ultimate, a shield forms, that's it. We don't have any other information about the hypercharge. With Buffy, you'll just be able to attack faster. I'll keep it simple. I'm telling you, when there are rewards related to gadgets, etc., it's only with buffies, so otherwise there are no changes regarding star power and hypercharge. For Billy on Bull, there's a POG reward for this gadget. Clicking it gives you some health. It launches a projectile at the enemy to deal damage, and hitting an enemy restores your health. With the buffist, he'll have a mark instead, so it won't deal damage. But you have to hit the brawler to recover a bit of health each time. It's 264 every time you recover, so now you don't gain health as easily. You really have to be in contact with a brawler. The other gadget was also a reward. Now, Big Boots. It slows down the brawlers who are nearby, and if they're already slowed, you can even immobilize them. So it's free. It's a free kill with the buffist, plus you slow them down, etc. You will also increase your movement speed, so it's even more overpowered. This star power will let you instantly charge your super if you eliminate a brawler during the effect of the power. For example, here we killed a brawler and you can see we have a super right after. As for the other star power, we can see we're going to get the kill on tick, and that's going to give you a shield where you'll be immune. You won't take any damage. For a short while, it's the same. It's extremely strong. The 3v1 is going to be pretty easy with the hypercharge. It will be able to pierce through certain brawlers, but the farther the distance, the less damage you'll do, but it's still extremely strong. Finally, we're switching trios. We're going to go with Nita. We have this gadget. It's simply going to give Nita's bear more damage. So here it's with Buffy. There's no rework or anything. The other gadget makes you take no damage for a short while. They really like being invincible right now. The star power with Buffy can overheal. That means you can get a shield so you can go beyond the normal hit points limits. Finally, the second star power lets you charge up much faster. Anyway, as you can see, Nita is literally spamming right now, but be careful, that's only when you summon Bruce. As for the hypercharge with Buffy, her attack will be longer, faster, and wider. Let's move on to Leon. Now, it's a hologram. Usually it causes no damage, but now it does very slight damage. That's the rework, so you don't need Buffy. It'll still deal a little damage. Interestingly, with the gadget, you can swap places with the clone. It will swap the two. You see, there will be a lot of kills and trolls like that. The other gadget will also be reworked. The rework is just that the lollipop can now be thrown. It's a bit like Spike. Previously, you had to place the cactus right where you stood like the lollipop, but now you can throw it. With Buffy, Leon, and Leon's allies, everyone on the same team will move faster. If we're in that area with that star power, all shurikens from the first attack will deal more damage. Simple. The other star power, it will simply make Leon's ultimate last longer, so you'll heal more, and if you're at full health, well, it will just last longer, so you'll be invisible for a longer time. As for the hypercharge, no matter the distance that separates you, with the brawler, etc., it will deal almost maximum damage. Now, let's move on to the last brawler bow. So here, it says rework on this gadget, but it's just that you can throw it now, that's all, and the Buffy will allow Bo to increase his range, so you can shoot farther. As for the other gadget, there are a few small changes. Now, you have to click on the gadget for the mines to start blinking before they explode. And when it starts blinking, just before that, there will be arrows that push the enemy back. With the Buffy, it will increase the range of the mines, so they will explode farther away. What's really overpowered now is his star power. When Bo shoots, he becomes invisible, even in bushes. Before, you could spot his location briefly, but now it's unclear where the mines come from. With the other star power, switching places faster lets you place mines more quickly, so they explode sooner. Also, with the hypercharge on Bo, he'll shoot one more arrow. Normally, Bo has 3 arrows. Now you'll have 4 now that we've finished all the buffs. They're telling us, don't forget, all the gear, epic, mythic, and so on. You will be refunded when it comes out. On top of that, all these buffs will appear in a new buff machine. So the 6 that I mentioned will be in a new machine. Of course, there will be a random buff as well. The first draw is free, but there will be a second one in the mega quest, and that's every month. So in the end, you'll get 3 free in 2 months. That's not bad, and it's not over yet because it will also be easier to get buffs. They tell us thanks to Sugar Rush. Well, it's not really Sugar Rush. It's something new where we'll be able to get power points, gold, and even trophies more easily. They'll explain that later and we'll revisit it. Now let's discuss Prestige. That's brand new too. They start by telling us that new trophies won't be reset. Then they show us this famous bar here, which is completely new. It looks a bit like the old mastery system. Now, between 0 and 1000 trophies, you won't just get rewards anymore. You'll also get cosmetics. At 250 trophies, you'll get a player icon plus a tag. At 500 trophies, you'll get 3 emotes. At 750 trophies, you'll get a 29 GM skin, and if the Brawler doesn't have a 29 GM skin, you'll get Blinks instead. Finally, at 1000 trophies, you get a Brawler title like this. It's the mandatory Brawler title. So, it's super easy to get now. Some people struggled to get it before, but now it's really super easy. But don't worry, there are going to be some things that will change. Of course, when we got all these rewards, some of these rewards were in the achievements. They'll disappear and won't return, making playing any brawler more rewarding since we'll get rewards for both new and old brawlers. In short, the mechanics will change. It's not over yet. They're also saying victories now give more trophies, especially with win streaks that can reach 10 instead of the old max of 5. That means you can win 23 trophies like that in one go. Yeah, without any modifiers, nothing. It's just a streak, that's all. Anyway, trophies will be easier to get, but of course it won't be that easy for everyone. You'll understand that. It's to get everyone back into the game a bit to make it easier, but we'll be able to separate the good players from the new ones. Everyone will be stacked at 1000 trophies and that's it, you're done. No, that's exactly why prestiges exist. At 1000 trophies, you've unlocked your first prestige level. That's it, you have this. It means your first 1000 trophies are safe. They're stacked somewhere and you can't lose them anymore because you've reached your first prestige. You'll still return to 0 trophies just as if you had 100 0 trophies. You just start again from 0, but once you've started over from 0 and you get your 1000 trophies back, you can go to Prestige 2. It looks like this. A pretty cool design to prove that you've reached Prestige 2. You'll get a little icon that looks like this. So basically, if you have 2,000 trophies with your brawler, that's it, you've secured them, and of course this icon will be rarer than the others, since it means you clearly master the brawler. But you can even go to Prestige 3, which means you master the brawler even more. And to reach Prestige 3, they tell us it's as hard as reaching 40-35 back in the day. And yes, matchmaking now depends on your prestiges. It's harder because streak bonuses are gone, no more win streaks or outsider perks. If you lose your trophies and can't climb as easily. They're making it clear that having Prestige 3 means you're among the best with this brawler. On top of that, you'll earn a neon title like this, which means you really master it. And that's where you really have to rush, because the other title is nice, but it's easy to get. This one is something else. It will also be a new permanent system in the game, and if it seems more intense, think that trophies will no longer be reset. On top of that, you'll also have prestige battle cards. If you reach level 25, it'll look like this. At level 50, it'll look like this. The higher your level, the stronger you'll be. Everyone can see your prestiges, especially with this battle card, which will show on your brawler profile. The rankings will take into account your total number of trophies, plus your total number of prestige trophies, and your total prestige as well. To sum up, your total number of trophies was a brawler at prestige 1, so 1,000 trophies. Your total number of prestige trophies is more than 1,000 trophies, so that's prestiges 2 and 3. It all depends on whether you've reached them or not, but it could be 500 or 1,000, 1,500, etc., plus your total prestige. So if you have one brawler at 1,000 trophies or 25 brawlers at 1,000 trophies, I tried to explain, but it'll be easier to show tomorrow when I can play. Basically, your battle card will work like that, and your old information will be marked. So in this little thing, they also tell us that it's not the only change, of course, since it's changing the prestiges and so on. We'll also have a new matchmaking system, the matchmaking rating 4. To put it simply, even though I've explained it a lot in other videos, it's going to be based on your skills in the game and not your number of trophies. Many small accounts with 10,000 or 20,000 trophies restart, but are strong and shouldn't be at that level, just like some accounts with 80,000 trophies. Honestly, they don't play well. To clarify, I'm not targeting anyone. Doing more good things in the game, scoring, getting kills, dealing damage, healing increases your success. You will have a certain number of points, and that will match you with opponents and allies who have the same number of points. So the better you are in games, whether you win or lose, it's going to be based on your matchmaking. So the matchmaking will be either harder or easier for weaker players. This whole system will be included in the new update. That means on the 24th, and as you understand, the season is much shorter since everything ends on the 24th. That's why, in particular, we'll get an Ultra Box for free, and if you have 3,000 more trophies, so in the season boxes, you'll get 2 Ultra Boxes for free. They're saying this is the last time our trophies will be combined. We won't have this system or the season boxes anymore, everything will be removed. But don't worry, since these were free rewards, they're telling us that they'll definitely come back in community events, and the rewards we have will also be transferred to community events, so in terms of rewards, we won't lose anything. That's why we're having more events to wrap up this chapter. They're saying with all the changes, adjustments will happen along the way. Perfection takes time, so future updates will include more tweaks. Now, let's continue to the next chapter, Rush Events, the well-known feature. As you can see, we can have an event about gold, power points, chaos star drop, but also trophies. You can see it lasts 20 minutes, so if you click briefly, the event activates and you earn double trophies for 20 minutes. But you can also earn, for example, more gold, more power points, or even chaos star drops, depending on how much you earn in the modes. That's why the match needs to be as fast as possible to get the most rewards. They tell us to activate it. When you play only with friends, of course, it will go faster and you'll win more. In random matches, it's more complicated to win. We don't have much information about the other rewards, but I imagine there will be a quota. You can earn 200 free power points per win, but be careful, it may vary just like gold. Did you get how it works? Now let's talk about skins. Every Brawltalk has skins, so let's move on. So we have this Sands of Time coming back like every year with Lily, Sand Bandit, Sandwalker, and Night Sand. You got it, these are Brawl Pass skins. We also have Cordalis Sultan with Sultan Camellia and Sultan Myosotis. Lily and Cordalis are next season's Brawl Pass skins, so if you get the Brawl Pass, use code Periado. We're running the promo again with the same theme. We also have new skins like Billy the Bodyguard, who now has a big knife instead of a bat. We have Arcade, which is simply a Jarmodite. We have Doug Dynastic, who is the coolest chef of the dynasty. Larry and Lori, honestly, they're really stylish too. I like both forms. We also have another theme called Dragon and Fairy. By the way, this is a theme we mentioned could be coming. I don't know if you remember, it was a little while ago. So we have Bonnie the Fairy with her 2 chroma skins. That completes the Brawl Pass. And the other Brawl Pass skin is Griff. He's called Draconic Griff, also with his chromas. Honestly, really stylish. As for the other skins, so we have the Fairy side with Mina the Fairy and a little celestial vibe. We have Frank the Fairy, the most majestic creature. What is this troll skin? Honestly, it really makes me laugh. We have Draconic Maisie with a dragon-shaped arm that's also connected to her heart, a Draconic Grom, also very, very stylish, with little dragon wings, a purple mask, and so on. And the Brawl Pass skin, which is a masterclass, is Dragon Crow, so it's the same. We have a set of designs, you know, there are several steps to unlock it, and so on. I'll do a pack opening. At least we'll see everything from A to Z. For this famous skin, we also have random skins, so we'll start with this one. Of course, it's inspired by Clash Royale. Did you recognize the log? We have Burt Claw, which is the opposite of Clover. That's why it's reversed. Inflatable Melody is going to be the skin for April Fool's Day. There you go. Some people are happy about it. And we have Nita Bruce. Actually, we'll play as Bruce, and Nita will be the bear. That's the change. These are April Fool's skins, at least. There aren't any skins like Spy Kaka. We also have new modes and additional modifiers. Yes, there are going to be cars in Brawl Stars. It's not a joke. The first mode they're showing us, there will be mystery boxes that, when broken, give you various boosts. For example, items to throw or equip like bowling balls or even bombs. There are even bumper cars. Yeah, really a car inside will be able to race. If this modifier is added to friendly maps, it's awesome. There are also new types of bosses with different mechanics we've never seen before, with dungeon cards, etc. In short, there are plenty of things coming. I'll let you see as we go without spoiling anything. We'll find out tomorrow. The treasure hunt will also return with some game improvements. Of course, we'll also have Cyrus with a little event where he'll take charge of the Samurai Clash. We'll face Brawler Shadows in a match, likely with trophies, and the team that defeats the most Shadows wins. It's an event, but I think trophies are involved too. We also have a lot of changes regarding the Brawlers. I'll let you take a look. Basically, we have visual effects for the shields. White will be for respawn, yellow is for damage reduction, and purple is for temporary bonus hit points. Anyway, it'll be easier to understand. We also have new Hypercharges discussed at the end. For example, Pierce gets his Hypercharge and now has 2 bursts of projectiles. As you can see, we have an initial automatic missile launch, then a second, followed by more damage effects, and so on. Anyway, it's really overpowered, but be careful. The second burst still does 50% damage, but it's still overpowered because it pierces through Brawlers. Yeah, it's strong. We also have Clover, who should normally get a Hypercharge. His ultimate only goes in one direction, so it's a small thing, kind of like an attack from Emery. Now, it's in all directions, and look at this size, it's just gigantic. So he scares everyone in all directions, and everyone around him is afraid. Additionally, frightened targets will take increased damage. There you go, it's extremely strong. At the end of the Brawl Talk for a minute, they're going to explain Drew's departure to us. We don't have a real reason, unfortunately. It's just a little cinematic for this major update, so we'll go over it pretty quickly. He ends this little animation with his departure and so on. He said, "Don't worry, I'll never leave Star Park. You can't leave it." He's not leaving the Star Park team, just changing roles, so he won't be on camera, but will work behind the scenes. We expect a new community manager to replace him. At the end, there's a QR code with this icon. I've already given it out, but if you haven't won, you still have the QR code. Thanks for watching this Brawl Talk. We'll see each other again tomorrow, especially because there are a lot of things that will be explained.